Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Vince and Ross Show. Now, we've been making some silly videos and having a really good time with you guys, breaking the ice and just getting to know each other. But today, we're going to get a little bit serious. Recently, there was a tragic event that happened in New York City. Let's roll the clip.
Daniel Penny, a 24-year-old former U.S. Marine, is charged with second-degree manslaughter after he choked a subway passenger to death. It was on the New York Metro, May 1st. Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old street performer who loved to impersonate Michael Jackson, suffered from mental illness and was often homeless. That day, he was agitated, according to witnesses, asking for food, shouting he was ready to die. Daniel Penny pinned him to the ground, put him in a chokehold for several minutes, and kept the pressure on for some time after Neely stopped moving.
Mr. Neely did not attack anyone. He did not touch anyone. He did not hit anyone. But he was choked to death, and that can't stand.
The family wanted a murder charge. With manslaughter, prosecutors will have to prove Penny may not have intended to kill Neely, but acted recklessly, choking him far longer than needed to subdue him.
And he chose to continue to hold that chokehold minute after minute, second after second, until there was no life left.
For more than a week, protesters had demanded Penny be arrested, the case stirring up tensions over race, homelessness, and mental illness, up against the fears in New York City that crime is rising, particularly on the Metro.
A mental issue on a train is not to be sentenced with death.
New York's mayor has been under pressure in the wake of the killing.
One thing we can say for sure, Jordan Neely did not deserve to die.
Lawyers for Daniel Penny will argue that he was trying to protect others and that he willingly turned himself in.
He did so voluntarily and with the sort of dignity and integrity that is characteristic of his history of service to this grateful nation.
But this case will hinge not on Penny's prior military service, but what threat justified choking a man to death on the F train. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Washington.
Well, that is a terrible, tragic event that happened recently. First of all, we just want to say we totally agree that he did not deserve to die from that. It's tragic. It's awful. Well, how do you feel about that?
I don't know the whole story. It's like what led to him putting him in there.
They show him and when he's doing his Michael Jackson performances, but was that what he was doing when he got onto the... Yeah. He probably was not being that way. That being said, obviously he did not deserve to die.
He's the military guy trying to go home, and
the
story could go so many.
But
what led it to that?
These things are happening a lot more often. They're happening all the time. People just flip out and things just get crazy quick. So people are on edge. You get out there and you start being loud and obnoxious, and you scare people. Now, that being said, obviously the guy didn't deserve to die. And once he got him down, subdued, like at some point, you got to realize, okay, the guy's not fighting back. He's out. I can let go or get up, make sure he's breathing or whatever. Which that right there can be the difference of exactly what happened. Now, labeling this guy either a hero or a murderer, that's tough because I don't really think that either label really fits. Like, I don't really think that he was necessarily a hero because a hero like saves everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like the true heroes save everybody. That's how it is in the comic books, you know.
Spider-Man stopping the train.
Exactly. And nobody dies.
And everybody's like, thanks, Spidey.
And it's like they don't even kill the bad guy. You know, the heroes don't even kill the bad guy. But that's comic book shit. In real life, things can jump off quick, which brings me up to this situation right here. We live in Portland, if you know, Ross and I, and we had a situation that happened on it's the Max is what they call it here, and that's our local train service. And that's this guy right here, Jeremy Christian. Now, he got on, and he started acting a fool, and somebody came up to him and was like, hey, man, are you okay? And he whipped out a knife and cut the dude's throat right there. And then he stabbed somebody else, and that guy died. So he's in prison right now for double murder on the Max tracks. And this happened like a year, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not equating this guy to the guy that got choked and killed in New York. So I don't want anybody out there saying, well, these guys are different, you know, this guy had a manifesto and all this stuff. Well, but the people that got on the train, they didn't know about his manifesto. And just like the people in New York, when that guy got on the train, they don't know if he has a manifesto. So the real issue, I believe, is why aren't there more police and more cameras that are working? I had a situation a couple of years ago myself, and maybe in a different video we'll talk about that. But basically, long story short, it got pretty hectic and rowdy, and there was really nobody there to stop anything. And even the video evidence that came from whatever was super grainy. And it's like everybody has a phone with like super 4K right there. We should have that on trains too. We should have police because there are people that have mental health problems. And whereas, no, I don't believe that the guy in New York deserved to die. I also don't believe that you should just get on and just scare people and harass people. You know, there's got to be a balance. On one hand, he's a military guy, and you know he's served our country and our country, and that's great. But if he's trained in this kind of stuff, he should be trained to like, hey man, at a certain point, you don't want to tip that balance of being, you know, stopping somebody from doing something to taking their life. You know, you subdued the guy. He's down for the count. I did see the guy fighting back a little bit. So at the beginning, you know, but at a certain point, he stops. Something needs to be done about this. Something should be done about the system itself, not just this one incident. The max system here can be pretty crazy. People have gotten on there. Like I said, that the Jeremy Christian guy, there's been a lot of scary people get on the max. I've ridden the max quite a bit. And there's been people get on there and they're yelling at the air and stuff like that. And everybody's just trying to like avoid this person or not, you know, make eye contact because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, the max stories that you have here, you know, just
There's in Portland, we have a very big issue with homeless and a lot of them have mental issues. A lot of them don't. They just like to live the way they're living. But a lot of them have mental issues, and then a lot of them like to jump on the max because that's not really regulated here. I mean, you can easily jump on the max and ride around and not have anybody question you about your tickets or anything like that. Now, we don't believe in creating some kind of a police state because that doesn't help out either. You don't need to be drilling everybody, but there should be at least
a sense of order.
Exactly. There should be more max rider police, more max police that are riders that kind of like keep an eye on things. And then when you have a presence like that known, I think that detours things a little bit.
Then you have that, and then people are like, oh, they're so aggressive. You're like, well, do you want protection? You know.
Well, that's where there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. And see, that's
a firefighter to put out the fire, but I want him to be soft about it.
That's where the cams come in. That's where you need. See, that's what I'm saying.
The fire.
If you have both, if you've got more cops on the trains or the max, whatever it's called, bar, wherever you are, it's called here. It's called the max. In New York, it's a sub. If you have more cops, and then you put more video cameras, which they cannot be that expensive because we've got them everywhere nowadays. So you have more cameras and more cops, and that way you've got a presence. And then whenever there's a dispute, like, hey, this guy was too hostile to me, this cop was just really working me over, then you've got that on camera too. And then I do believe in policing the police. I mean, I don't want to piss anybody off on either side, but I do believe in having a good police force that's fair. And I also believe in maintaining them, like having body cams and stuff like that on cops, because we have to have a police force. I don't think anybody likes cops when they're getting pulled over, but we can't just have lawlessness and anarchy. I mean, it sounds cool in the movies, but in reality, you can't really do that. That's crazy. It's crazy talk.
You want to know how I got these scars? Right. We cannot be
in the nomad zone,
burning, mountain triangles of money.
Anarchy and Mad Max makes great movies, but imagine living in that shit for real. It's horrifying. It's horrifying.
You're hooked, Max.
Let us know what you guys want to hear about in the comments below. Hit the like and subscribe button, and remember,
be good to each other and stay rocking.
It's the Vincent Ross Show.
Is everybody out there nuts?
I don't know who these jokers are.
The whole world gone crazy! Don't make me come down there.
well,
Do it again.